Hello, and welcome to my August budget recap. I think we did a little bit more spending this month with a bunch of small trips to the grocery store and shopping that we don't typically do. So let's just jump right into the budget and see how much we spent. So, first of all, for our income, my paycheck was exactly the same as it was last time, which was exactly what I budgeted for. But my husband's paycheck, he actually got a little bit of a bonus on this paycheck, and that was $2,815.16 was the amount that hit our joint account after the bonus. So that's an increase of $635.50 more than we had budgeted for. So that's nice. And then for interest, our accounts this month earned us $157.80, which is way more than we budgeted for because, as I said, I like to be conservative with my income estimates, and then I'll have lots more to work with once we get our actual income. So, moving on to rewards, we didn't redeem any credit card rewards this month. And then for refunds, we actually finally received our state income tax refund. So that was $1,341. So thank you to A Shoppa who asked on my last video if I had received that yet, because I was reminded to send them an email, and that, I guess, got the ball rolling for them sending me my refund finally. And then for other income, we didn't receive anything else that we weren't expecting. So that brings our total income for this month to just over $13,000, which was more than $2,000 more than we had budgeted for because of my husband's unexpected bonus and because we finally got our state tax refunds. So, moving on to our debts. From my update, we had paid our mortgage, one of our car payments, our student loans, and one of the retirement account loans. So for the second half of the month, we had a second car payment come out. And with my second paycheck, I also had a second retirement account loan come out. And so we paid all of our debts, just the minimum payments and nothing extra. And then moving on to our fixed expenses, our utility bill came out to $171.50 this month. We got another $12.50 credit for some program that we're enrolled in that allows them to cycle our air conditioning on the hottest days, which is supposed to, help with energy load when it's most in demand. So we allow them to do that, and they give us $12.50 for, I think, 3 or 4 months over the summer. We paid our internet at the beginning of the month and our car insurance also, and so my Acorns account subscription came out. That was $1. And then for daycare, halfway through the month, we had paid $420. And then for most of the second half of August, my daycare provider had additional days open. So typically she only goes to daycare 3 days a week. However, I think every single week in August, or like the last 3 weeks in August, she had an open spot for the other 2 days that she usually doesn't go to daycare. And so she went to daycare a lot this month, And so I also drove to work a lot this month because every day that she went to daycare, I went to work. So our total expense for daycare this month was more than I budgeted for because of those extra days. And we ended up paying $1,400 for daycare, which was just $200 more than I budgeted for because I think I originally thought that she would be starting full time in August. However, I was still doing part time and paying per day. So it was a little bit more expensive to pay per day than paying like per week. So hopefully moving forward in September, she will be going full time and I'll just be paying $300 a week. So now moving on to our savings. The FSA comes out with my paycheck, and so another $20 came out. And we actually spent some from our FSA. That was $94.30. That was for some vitamins that I bought at the grocery store and some replacement breast pump parts that I bought off of Amazon, which I go into the details of all of my spending in my daily spending log, which should be coming out after this video. My husband's Roth IRA, we didn't budget anything for that, and so we didn't contribute to that. Right now it's not our priority because we are working towards saving for the roof, which we have to pay off by next April so that it doesn't start accruing interest. We didn't spend any from my husband's Roth IRA, which is good. For my Acorns after-tax brokerage account, we didn't have any more roundups occur this month, and I didn't spend any, so I just contributed $10.51 to my after-tax brokerage account and didn't spend any of it. For the emergency fund, we didn't budget any money for that, and so we didn't contribute any either, and we didn't spend any. And then for the new roof savings, I will leave that blank until the very end to let you know how much we were able to save for that this month. But we didn't spend anything from it. My daughter's 529. I contributed the $415 towards that. We are still contributing to her 529 because we will be able to get a tax break from our state taxes by contributing to that. We didn't spend anything from it. And then moving on to our sinking funds. In the middle of the month, I contributed to our home sinking fund so that I could bring that value back up from the negative. And then everything else was exactly what we budgeted for, $325 for groceries. We didn't spend anything from our home budget. For groceries, we made a couple more purchases. We did a bunch of like small grocery trips this month that brought our total spending on groceries to $316.50. For car and gas, we budgeted $175, so I contributed $175 to the sinking fund, and we ended up spending $160.30. And so that was 2 tanks of gas for me, 1 for my husband, and then he also bought gas for the lawnmowers, which I could have put into our home budget, but I decided to put it into the gas budget. I think we have more money in our car and gas budget right now than we do in the home sinking fund, but it really could have gone either way. For gifts and donations, we budgeted $40, so we contributed $40 to our sinking fund, and we only had my niece's party that we went to and spent that $20 for her. For restaurants, we budgeted $25 for our low spend year. We're trying not to spend any money in this category, but we're still building we're still building up our sinking fund in case we need to use it. So we contributed $25 to that, but we didn't spend any this month. For pets, I have 2 rabbits, and I contribute to their sinking fund because I don't have to buy food for them every month, and plus they go to the vet once a year. So I like to have a sinking fund for them for that reason. So we budgeted $60. I contributed $60, and we didn't have to make any purchases for them this month. For my daughter, we budgeted $50 in her sinking fund, contributed $50, and we ended up spending $51.57 on her. I had to buy those replacement breast pump parts off of Amazon, and in order to get the free shipping, since we don't pay for Prime, I needed to spend a little bit more money. So I ended up buying her wipes because she needs wipes for daycare. And so I put that into the baby sinking fund. We also went to the thrift store and bought her quite a few items that I go over in my daily spending log. It's kind of a bit of a thrift haul as well when I get to that day for, and I'll show you everything I bought and how much I spent exactly on her clothes from the thrift store. For clothing and personal, we budgeted $5. Again, for the low spend year, I'm not trying to spend any money from clothing and personal. So I contributed $5, but I didn't spend anything, so that's good. For health, this is for anything that the FSA doesn't cover or while we're waiting for something health related to get reimbursed. I budgeted $5, I contributed $5, and I didn't have to spend any this month. For travel and entertainment, I budgeted $15, contributed $15, and also didn't spend anything. We did a lot of family stuff this month, but none of that required paying for anything because it was just visiting at my parents' house, at my in-laws' house. So, for phone, I mentioned that I paid to renew my Mint Mobile service at the beginning of the month, and that was a little bit more than we budgeted for with all of the fees tacked on that I didn't really expect. But I contributed $45 to that, and going forward, we're going to have to contribute a little bit more than $45 a month in order to make sure that we can cover all of the fees. And then for miscellaneous, we didn't spend any from miscellaneous. Everything we spent fell into a category. And so I'm going to contribute $5.67 to that so that we have a nice even $5,180 that we can contribute to our new roof savings goal. So that brings our roof savings to just over $30,000. So I think we're about 3/4 of the way there. No, we're about 2/3 of the way there to our savings goal, which is really great because we still have 7 months to save up. So I think we are going to get there, and that makes me so relieved. So hopefully nothing crazy pops up between now and April, and we should be able to afford to pay off our entire roof. So that was a recap on my August budget. Let me know in the comments how your August went. How much were you able to save towards your savings goals, or how much did you pay off towards your debt payoff goals? Also, did you stick to your budget? Were there any areas that you had some trouble with? If you're interested in seeing more of my family's journey, then please hit subscribe because I would love to have you follow along. Thank you for being here.